All right, Steeler fans, it is Friday, second half of the show. It's time for the All Betz Are Off segment with Jeremy Jerome Betz. Jeremy, what's going on, man?
Oh man, lots of stuff. Busy. Work is crazy right now with the weather, but doing well and happy to talk with you about the Steelers. Even though we don't have a game this week, Jeff, it's
That's
it's a
right.
bummer.
That is a bummer, but I want to hear about it. Tell me about the
Yeah.
trip. Tell me about the
Okay.
trip from North Carolina
Yep.
all the way to Baltimore, Maryland. Tell me about the drive. Tell me about the
Yep.
game experience, all of it.
So we had a pretty uneventful drive up. It was ended up being about 9 hours of travel time. Just we were taking it slow with some of the ice and snow that was coming down as we were driving up. So we were taking our precautions, but we get up there. It's probably by the time kickoff happens at 8:15, it's probably like 25 degrees outside. It is cold, and
Yeah.
we're way up high. So we're bundled up, happy to have all of our layers. And man, it was a very interesting, different dynamic to be in a stadium where my team was completely uncompetitive until it was too late, right? And it didn't feel good. The Ravens fans overall were not terrible, but we did get some calls coming our way from Ravens flock, and yeah. So I'll just put it this way: from the in-stadium experience, still fun to go to the game, fun to hang out with my bros and root on the Steelers in enemy territory. But they came out flatter than you'd ever imagine, Jeff. And the other thing I would say is that Lamar Jackson in person, the way he reads the field, the way he gets an advantage over defenses just because of his athleticism and his unique ability to make decisions in real time and make the right decision is incredible. He's faster than fast, quicker than quick. He is the man. It is crazy to watch, and I still hate the guy because he's a Raven, but he was just insane. And then you get out late; it's midnight by the time we got to our car. It was a long drive back, contemplating the Steelers' future and living in our feelings a little bit in the car, but we're better now. But it was fun.
That's a long way to. Yeah, I hated having to talk about the game after it was over. I'm in my
Yeah.
house. I can't imagine a 9-hour drive back home to stew in your brain of
Yeah.
all the crap that went wrong and all that stuff. And I've always said to my wife, if I'm traveling over 7 hours, when we get to our destination, I better be putting my feet in sand in an ocean. You all did
I
not
get
do
you.
that in
No, not
Baltimore,
even close.
Maryland. I'll tell you
No,
that.
no.
No, but
It was my brother had he had a crab mac and cheese hot dog or something like that.
ugh.
Yeah. So he was feeling it on the ride home for most of that, and
He was.
yeah, $16 too for that sucker. So it was crazy.
Jeez. Hey,
Uh,
if you have crab cakes, like I know if you go to the Orioles Camden Yards, they have unbelievable crab cakes
sure,
that are
sure.
expensive, but
Yeah.
you're not going to feel bad after that. It's amazing. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever have a crab mac and cheese hot dog. Like that's
Stadium food, yeah.
oh
Let's go.
gosh, it's disgusting. But still, what was your takeaway from the game?
Yeah.
I've given my thoughts. I did listen to the Steelers fix this week, but let the listeners know, like, what was your takeaway being in stadium to seeing it? It just looks so lopsided on television.
Yeah. It was lopsided in person too. It was a physical beatdown from the start. And I thought the Steelers defense on that very first drive for Baltimore, where it was like they were fighting, but they kept getting beat on third down. And it was just a long, what was it, 90 yards, 95-yard drive to start
Yeah,
that game to go down the field for a touchdown. And immediately when Rashad Bateman caught that ball in the end zone for the touchdown, it was over. It was just over for the Steelers defense. You could tell they were done as they were walking off the field. And then the offense comes back out and lays an egg, and you're right back on the field. It was over from that point. And it was really disheartening to watch in person. You see the sideline the whole time, and guys have their hands on hips after the first drive of the game, Jeff. It was crazy. I have never seen the Steelers do that. I've been to 4 games before this one, and I've never seen that from the Steelers. And I thought that the Steelers showed their hand and were not they accepted the role of underdog too much, I think. And you saw that when Mike Tomlin decided to take the ball to start the game. It was a very, okay, we're going to need to pull out all the stops to win this game. And then after that point, he didn't do anything to pull out all the stops anymore. It was just a total quit. So it's like you made maybe the right approach, but then you didn't stick to it in the end. And the disheartened feeling emanated from the Steelers sideline up into the stands, and you could just kind of feel it was going to go downhill pretty quickly after that. So I do like how the offense kind of caught something to start the second half, and it was just enough, Jeff, to where you were like, okay, maybe the offense can provide the spark that the defense obviously isn't giving us right now. But then the give back touchdown after that first touchdown where Derrick Henry rumbles for 35 yards or whatever it is to finish off that drive, that was just the other nail in the coffin. And it from there, didn't matter what happened, you kind of just felt like it was over. So very disheartening. It made me rethink a lot of my support for the organization and the head coach and things, where I've always kind of labeled them as a group, an organization that sets itself up for success with the culture and everything. It makes you start to rethink some of those things when the team very obviously is quitting before the game is even over.
All right. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. I don't know if you've listened to my podcast this week. And I talked about where do they go from here? Monday, we talked about coaching changes. Wednesday was more about players, salary cap implications, players that could get cut to free up more space. Have you listened to this?
I did not, Jeff. I've been kind of backed off since the game. It's just
I get it.
Yeah.
And trust me, you're not alone. But the reason I asked, and I'm not to put you on the spot, was I wanted to ask if you agreed or disagreed with any of my takes as this plan that I've been laying out. And even earlier in this show, I did the team needs, the top 7 team needs that I have for the Steelers heading into the offseason. But let's talk coaches first then. Of the coaches, we know Mike Tomlin's staying. I said both coordinators can go one way or another. Maybe Arthur Smith gets a head coaching job. Who knows? And I want Pat Meyer gone. Other than that, any other coaching change move doesn't move the needle for me. Like I used Alfredo Roberts, the tight ends coach, as an example. If they fire Alfredo Roberts, I'm not going to be like, yes, here we go. This is the change we wanted, everybody. Yeah. I'm not doing that. What about you? What do you think about the coaching staff?
I think you need to look at anybody that has anything to do with the pass rush of this team at reconfiguring that somehow, because it's been not ineffective, because it seems like each season it starts out pretty strong. And then you have a guy like TJ Watt, who in previous seasons has been unstoppable. He's just good for an easy 17, 18, 19 sacks plus if he's healthy. And then this season, we really saw that teams figured out how to slow him down. And it's not necessarily that they were stopping him, if it was just slowing him down enough to where they could get plays off and things like that. So if I'm taking a look at beyond what you just mentioned, and I 100% agree with you, Arthur Smith can go. Now, if he stays, I think there were some things you can build off of if you can get the right quarterback in the building who's going to operate an Arthur Smith offense the way it's designed to operate, where you're passing over the middle of the field and able to handle some of those things that made it good when you're talking about Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry in that backfield in Tennessee. So if he stays, I'll be okay with it, but they better figure out something at quarterback. They better figure out how to improve the run game. That's going to be primary. But if he did leave, I would be just fine with that. Terrell Austin. Go ahead.
Before we go to defense.
Yeah.
What would you do at quarterback? Are you looking at bringing in one of the two that were here? Or are you looking for a Sam Darnold type to bring
No.
in.
The only one of the two that were here that I would entertain is Justin Fields. And I made the argument that Fields would be a better option than even Sam Darnold because of what at the time was price point. I thought that you could get Fields a lot cheaper than you were going to be able to get Darnold after the year he's had. And also that taking Darnold outside or taking Darnold out of the Kevin O'Connell super quarterback friendly system could spell disaster for a team when there were enough shaky experiences with Darnold to where they have the early playoff exit and defenses, you can still figure out this guy can still see ghosts at times when things aren't designed and open for him right away. So Fields has the ability to create his own floor was my argument with the rushing ability. And then you see where it can go from there. Would I be extremely happy with that? Probably not. I think that the Steelers could do better via trade potentially. I don't think you're going to do better through the draft. So it's kind of, to me, pull out all the stops to see if you can get a franchise type guy via trade somehow.
Who would you trade for?
I would knock on the door of Geno Smith in Seattle. I think that's yeah. Okay. So I feel, I believe Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL as it sits today.
Okay.
So that's where I come from with that. And then the other guy that I look at is Matt Stafford. And I know people are going to say, okay, how about this playoff run that they're going on? He's only 33. If you consider the difference between him and even Russell Wilson, he's got plenty of arm left. He's got that killer mentality. And I think that, the Rams could end up seeing, depending on how far they go here, that this might be the end of that and move on to the next thing. So I don't know. There's a possibility that you could entice a team, and as coaching changes happen and things like that, you'll see people on the move. Go make a splash trade for Joe Milton out of New England right now.
Oh my gosh, you could sign Justin Fields for probably cheaper than that. I mean, for a trade, you're trading for a guy. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I totally understand. Like, hey, leave no stone unturned. I'm also not trying to do something stupid. I'm fine with giving Justin Fields a 2-year deal that you can get out of after 1 year if he sucks. And if you suck, you're going to be in the sweepstakes for a much better quarterback crop in 2026 than you would be in 2025.
Absolutely.
So now I'm okay doing the cheaper route in 2025 and then looking to maybe make a move in 2026.
Yeah, and I definitely am too. I would just say that we saw enough from Justin Fields in the 6 games where I don't think he's going to be that quarterback who's going to throw over the middle of the field where Arthur Smith.
That's why I said get rid of Arthur Smith, because if you're going to keep Justin Fields, bring in someone that can step an offense that is a little bit more to like Todd Monken's in Baltimore.
There you go.
It's more of a read option. It's more of a running style. You're going to set up. You're going to get a running back anyways because Najee's probably going to be gone. Right. And so you want to find someone that fits that, and it's not Arthur Smith's offense. That was one of the main reasons why I said to get rid of it.
Yeah, that makes sense totally. And so maybe what you do at quarterback should dictate, or your thoughts about what you're going to do at quarterback should dictate what you do with Arthur Smith.
True.
But what the Steelers probably will do is what they decide to do with Arthur Smith will dictate what they do at quarterback.
Yes.
Or maybe not at all. They might just try to fit the square peg in the round hole again and see if that can work. I don't have much trust in the organization to get that right because they haven't done so in recent years. And I'm not saying it's easy either. There's plenty of teams that have been in quarterback purgatory or quarterback hell for much longer than the Steelers have been. So there's precedent for potentially a long road in that department, no matter how good a coach you are, no matter how good you are at drafting and developing. Sometimes quarterback just doesn't work out because you have to have a special guy there from the get-go.
So we're going to have some time. I know we didn't dive into the defense. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about that.
Yeah.
I want to get some picks in for this divisional round.
Okay, sure.
So we're just going to do some quick rapid fire picks. We'll do straight up and with the spread. So let's go in chronological order. We're starting off a Saturday at 4:30, Texans at Chiefs. The spread is Kansas City's giving 8. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, this one's all of a sudden a little bit more fun because the Texans were definitely game last week. Now, most of that was because the defense took the ball away, put the offense in better position to get some scoring done, and also scored themselves. The defense did. So this defensive matchup is what I'm looking at for this game. Can the Texans do enough with the pass rush and with D'Amico Ryans scheming things up to slow down what has been an up and down Chiefs offense throughout the year? And we all know the Chiefs defense knows how to scheme up for opposing teams as well. I think this one will be a little bit closer than people might imagine. It's the way the Chiefs have played ball this year. So I'm going to say that this one's close inside that spread amount. I'm going to take the Texans on the spread there, but I'm going to say the Chiefs win this one probably by 3-4 points, maybe a touchdown, but less than that 8 figure there.
This has backdoor cover written all over it, like a field goal in the last minute to get to have the final score be within 8. I just think the Texans keep it close enough to say I'm taking the Texans getting 8, but the Chiefs straight up. Let's go to the next game, 8:00 Saturday. Commanders at Lions. The Commanders are getting 9.5 points on the road at Ford Field. Jaden Daniels and company trying to do the impossible or improbable, I should say. What do you think about this one?
This one kind of feels like the Lions had their bye week. They're going to reestablish themselves as, okay, we are the juggernaut team to beat on the NFC side of the ball. The Commanders, you're a fun story, but I don't know if you're game for this one. I think the Buccaneers, they wouldn't have ended up going to Detroit, but I think the Buccaneers would have been a better team moving forward, and that's just because they've been there before and they've given some of these better teams heck in the past. And I don't know if the Commanders will be able to do that. So I'm taking the Lions on the spread. I think they're going to win in dominant fashion this weekend.
Okay. I'm taking the points. Give me the Commanders getting 9.5. Okay. I think Jade Daniels and that offense is just starting to get rolling. We'll see. Let's go to Sunday. Rams at Eagles. This could have some snow in it. Philly's giving 6.5 points. What do you think?
This is my upset alert here. This is a Rams team that is on fire, and they are playing for their coach, and their coach is just on another level right now as far as scheme and preparation. His Rams are going into these games with a leg up advantage as far as scheme goes. Now, this is the most physical team left on the docket to me in the Eagles. So that's going to play a role in this. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Rams, though. I think this is an upset, and I think Matt Stafford gets to another NFC Championship game and makes things very interesting. So I'm going to take the Rams on the money line in this matchup.
This is an A.J. Brown game, so get ready. He had one catch last week. I think he's going to go off. I like the Eagles at home to win and cover. I think L.A. is a good story. I think they are going to play well, but I like the Eagles. Let's go to the finale Sunday night, 6:30 p.m., I should say. Ravens at Bills. The Ravens are giving 1. So it's basically a toss-up game. What do you think?
Yeah, the Ravens giving 1 on the road, though. That's the desert really feels that this Ravens team is primed for something here. And I kind of feel the same way, actually. So I'm taking the Ravens here. I think they've shown that they can beat Buffalo. They did so earlier this year in dominant fashion. Josh Allen, I've always kind of felt this year that Josh Allen would eventually run into a situation where he alone is not going to be enough to overcome the talent deficiencies on the offensive side of the ball. They've got a really good run game. They spread the ball out a lot. Guys do their roles very well, but they don't have that one break the game open guy outside of Josh Allen. The Ravens, to me, have Derrick Henry. And if Zay Flowers comes back in this game, they have that guy as well. And they have Mark Andrews. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. It feels like the Ravens could go on a roll. So I'm taking them on the money line and to cover the point spread there.
Shoot. No, I can't pick the Ravens. It's the Buffalo Bills at home. Josh Allen, send the Ratbirds back to Baltimore.
Please,
love nothing
make me wrong. Yes.
All right, Jeremy, this has been great. Go ahead and preview anything you got coming up and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so if you missed the fix, we did talk through each of these playoff teams that are left and tried to take one thing from each one that we thought the Steelers could copy or emulate moving forward that would help them get into the divisional round and beyond it next year. So check that out. We'll be coming out with a Draft Dynasty podcast later today as well. So tune in for that. Real heavy on the NFL draft. We're going to dive into a lot of stuff there. So listen to those shows. Check out the Q&A. If you missed it live, go back and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Always have a good time chatting with our people here on the Steel Curtain Network about the Pittsburgh Steelers in a Q&A fashion.
There you go. Perfect stuff, Jeremy. As always, thank you for your time. We'll talk next week. Take it easy.
Have a good one, Jeff.